We're only in January and we already have another celebrity lawsuit that goes beyond Justin and Blake Lively's $400 million price tag. And if you thought theirs was bad, you gotta check this one out. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Glass Room. Today, we are gonna be diving into some legal drama that may even top the charts of Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's current lawsuit. We are gonna be talking about the $500 million lawsuit that Chris Brown filed against Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, pretty much everybody, my generation, Gen Z, and millennials know who Chris Brown is, but if for some reason you don't know who Chris Brown is, let me give you a little bit of an introduction. Chris Brown is a wildly successful singer and dancer in both R&B and pop, and he has had so many hits. And if you're someone that's like, I don't know who Chris Brown is, I guarantee you probably know a Chris Brown song. There's Run It, Ain't No Way, Look at Me Now. If you're more into his newer stuff, there's Superhero, Under the Influence. And because of his talent and how successful he is, people have even compared him to Michael Jackson.
That is so stupid. That's the most ridiculous, horrifying story I've ever heard. It's crazy.
And I'm a huge MJ fan, so I don't think I personally would make that connection, but a lot of people have. All that said, with fame and money, there is always a cost, and for him, there was a shit ton of legal drama that went on throughout his career, most notably his physical abuse of Rihanna.
Water, earth, fire, air.
But this time, the legal drama is not about a fight or a tweet gone wrong. It's about a documentary that he claims has turned his life into a distorted, defamatory narrative. On January 21st, 2025, Chris Brown and his lawyers filed a lawsuit in Los Angeles Superior Court targeting Warner Bros. Discovery and the creators behind a documentary called Chris Brown, A History of Violence.
I'm sure the girls want to know a couple more questions and things. For the young ladies, I mean, what's up, man? You got a girl or what?
Nah, I'm keeping my options open, so y'all be checking for me, you know what I'm saying?
Thank you so much.
That's the type of stuff will get you in trouble, player. Chris Brown is the name. Get used to that right there.
Chris Brown's an amazing and talented musician, but let's call a thing a thing. He's an abuser of women, consistently, unapologetically.
Did Chris pull a gun on that girl?
When is your hearing for your restraining order?
There's a long list of various different women
Seem pretty upset. Are you sure you don't really call victims advocates have them come talk to you?
who've accused Chris Brown of assaulting them.
Singer Chris Brown has been detained in an alleged case of rape.
He has an audience full of assault deniers.
No, I have not spoken about this matter publicly, but that's the only way that he can be stopped.
But first, let's break down this lawsuit. So Chris Brown is alleging defamation, libel, and emotional distress. Now, the claims surrounding this lawsuit are not light at all. Chris Brown is alleging that the docuseries, which aired on Investigation Discovery in October of 2024, painted him wrongly as a serial rapist and a sexual abuser. His legal team argues that this documentary is not just misguided, but also downright deceptive, filled with what they call false information in pursuits of likes, clicks, downloads, and dollars. Now, the main part of this lawsuit critiques the portrayal of events, including allegations from a woman named Jane Doe, who claims that Chris Brown assaulted her in 2020. Now, this woman actually did file a lawsuit against Chris Brown in 2020, but it was dismissed in 2022, which, of course, Chris Brown's lawyers are now using to argue that her accusations are baseless. Chris Brown's lawyers are highlighting that he has never been convicted of any sexual crime, challenging that narrative that he's a repeat offender. Now, my big question is, what the fuck is he gonna do with $500 million? Like, the man's already rich as hell. Or maybe if he wins, he'll really want to rub it in Warner Bros.' face. He'll buy part of their company and make his own documentary. Call it, like, Chris Brown, I didn't do it. And if he doesn't dedicate that shit to OJ, he is just missing out on a good opportunity. I can't include that. I can't. Okay, yes, I can. But seriously, $500 million, that's enough to put on the Greatest World Tour ever like 2 or 3 times. Maybe he'll do like a huge comeback tour. But now let's dive into the documentary itself. The documentary is called Chris Brown, A History of Violence, and it really does not pull any punches whatsoever. It revisits his past, including the high-profile assault on Rihanna in 2009. Now, he was convicted of felony assault in that case in 2009, and I remember this was like the biggest story ever. I think I was in 6th grade in 2009. 2012, I was a freshman in high school. So yeah, like 6th, 7th grade in 2009. But the documentary talking about the older allegations, that's not really the big deal. deal, it's these newer allegations that are stirring the pot. And I know right now a lot of us know way more about P. Diddy than we really want to.
There are no misconceptions about me.
He seems to have his fingers dipped in everybody's crimes, but the accusation that Jane Doe is saying about Chris Brown assaulting her apparently took place on P. Diddy's yacht. But Chris Brown's lawyers have countered with evidence that they claim disproves these allegations. They point to text messages that allegedly show that Jane Doe has a lot of inconsistencies and that there is a restraining order filed on her by her ex-boyfriend, and they're trying to claim that she's not as innocent as this documentary makes her seem. Some outlets have even reported that the restraining order put on Jane Doe by her ex-boyfriend was because she was violent. Now, because all this info is so new, it's kind of hard to figure out which way this case is going to go. The evidence does point both ways. And to be honest, a lot of people don't know everything that has happened with Chris Brown, so I went ahead and jotted down all of his legal drama, past and present, and I'm going to break it down for you real quick. In 2009, he had an assault on Rihanna. It left her hospitalized. He pleaded guilty and got 5 years of probation, community service, and domestic violence counseling. In 2011, he did an interview on Good Morning America where he was questioned about Rihanna. He got pissed off, stormed off set, and threw a chair through his dressing room window. In 2012, he had a nightclub brawl with Drake where he was involved in a physical fight in New York, apparently over Rihanna. This didn't lead to any injury or legal charges. However, I am accusing him of being a fucking simp for Rihanna. Get over it. In 2013, he had a fight with Frank Ocean over a parking space with allegations of homophobic slurs and threats. Also in 2013, Brown was accused of faking community service hours and violating his probation terms, including testing positive for marijuana. And again in 2013, Brown was accused of a hit and run, which led to additional community service hours. But it is still not over. In 2014, Chris Brown was arrested for felony assault in Washington, D.C. outside of a hotel. And this one's pretty crazy. Chris Brown went to rehab for anger management, but was kicked out for violent behavior. How you gonna get kicked out for the thing that put you in there? And obviously the rehab didn't help, because in 2016, Chris Brown was arrested following a standoff at his home for allegedly threatening a woman with a gun. And then later in 2016, his former manager Mike G sued him for assault, claiming that Brown had attacked him. And I'm still going. This man can't go a single year without getting some kind of accusation. In 2017, Brown was accused of assaulting a photographer in Tampa, Florida, leading to his arrest on an outstanding warrant. Now, I know all this shit is bad, and I shouldn't pick a favorite crime, but in 2018, Jesus Christ, Chris Brown was charged with possessing a pet capuchin monkey without a permit. I wonder if he got violent with the monkey. But then again, don't capuchin monkeys have the fangs? Anyways, moving on. In 2019, Chris Brown was arrested in Paris, along with 2 others because of some allegations of aggravated rape and drug offenses, but those were later dropped. And all this legal drama bit him in the ass in 2020 when he tried doing a tour in Australia and New Zealand, but his tour was canceled because of his criminal history affecting visa issues. And now we're back to that 2022 case with Jane Doe, where an unnamed woman filed a lawsuit claiming that Brown raped her on a yacht, seeking $20 million in damages. However, as we already said, the case was dismissed due to a lack of prosecution. But it still didn't stop, and I swear I'm almost done because we're quite literally running out of years. We're almost back to 2025. But in 2023, Chris Brown was accused of assaulting a man in a London nightclub with a bottle of tequila. And Chris Brown seems a little weird. Do you think he assaulted him by hitting him over the head with the bottle, or do you think, Diddy stuff? In 2024, 4 men did file a $50 million lawsuit against Chris Brown and his entourage for an alleged assault backstage after a concert in Fort Worth. And now, bring it back to 2025, he is finally the person doing the suing and not getting sued. He is suing Warner Brothers for $500 million. And his lawyer did an interview defending him. I haven't seen this interview. I've just seen a picture of his lawyer, so let's watch it together.
We know.
Oh my God, why is he so pink? This dude looks like a fucking cowboy that's been riding his horse out in the sun for too long.
We know that there's always going to be some women, some men out there that try to take advantage of these celebrities and try to exploit them and try to make money off them. There's lots of them. Where this could be stopped and where the responsibility has to lie is with people like Warner Brothers. When you have giant companies with all of these smart people that are in there making these decisions, and the decision is, we're going to take this one girl who's been completely discredited story and protect her identity and treat her like a victim and put this out there for the public eye, and we're going to smash these celebrities and we're going to throw them under the bus and we're going to ruin their life because it will make Warner Brothers a little bit more money.
Okay, he starts out making a good argument. There are plenty of people that try to get celebrities in trouble, right? I remember this one girl back when I was in high school tried to say that Justin Bieber was her baby daddy. He was not. But then he goes on to say that the Jane Doe argument is discredited, but you can't really discredit an argument that didn't fully go through the court process because of a lack of prosecution. Or it's possible they're really confident and have information that hasn't been released yet, and they feel like they really can discredit her arguments.
And that's not good. And I'll just say it right here. Shame on you, Warner Brothers. Shame on you, big companies, for doing this to people's lives. Because at the end of the day, people are more important than companies. Every single person in this country, from the lowliest to whoever you think is on the top is more important than the biggest companies in this country. Again, for people to continue to profit off of his name and at the same time hurt his name is ridiculous. So the producer, the director, the people involved, the distribution company, the folks that show it, all of them need to be held responsible so they'll quit doing this to Chris. Secondly, I think the message he wants to get out strongly is, after 15 years of just kind of laying down and trying to take it and apologizing, he's tired. He's tired. People keep coming after him and exploiting him, exploiting his name, exploiting his talent, exploiting his brand for these cheesy documentaries, and he's done with it. You know, he's going to do something about it. You know, Chris has apologized and sought treatment and paid thoroughly for the terrible things that happened with Rihanna. He's a new guy. It's a new time. And he's trying to move forward to basically be the Chris Brown that the world deserves.
So do you feel like
the talented next Michael Jackson?
As soon as the lawyer mentioned Rihanna, the only thing I could think about was Chris Brown chucking a chair at his head. But that being said, the lawyer does make a point. Whether it's valid or not, you can decide. But I gave you a list of all of the stuff that he has gone through, whether he did it or not. Some of it was dropped. Some of it he was accused for. Some of it he just took the punishment and didn't even admit guilt. Whether or not all those things were just people trying to get money from him, or if he actually did do a lot of these things, it's like our legal system's not perfect, so we'll never know. Now, I'm really interested to see what happens. I'm a pretty big fan of Chris Brown's music, and if he is innocent, and this is absolutely horrible to just throw these allegations at him. But not just that, it's super unprofessional from Warner Brothers' side. Like, could you imagine being Chris Brown in this situation? One day he just wakes up and he's a villain in a documentary. And the public reaction's been pretty mixed. We got one person on actually tweeted, "Chris Brown, starting 2025 with residuals video and a lawsuit against people who lied on him. We won." Another user writes, "Chris Brown, after winning this lawsuit." Yeah, that's about right. Another person tweeted, "Chris Brown needs to focus on redeeming his image and clearing his name." Some people are even saying it's race related. As one user posted, "Black artists are getting slammed with these accusations nowadays. Yeah, I had to throw the race card in because it's getting too apparent now." And these two users posted, "Women beaters don't want to be called women beaters nowadays. It can't be defamation if you did it." And the second one says, "When a woman beater doesn't want to be called one." Oh, that's harsh. But this lawsuit is way more than just celebrity gossip. It's a legal battle that could shape media responsibility as a whole. Chris Brown's defense hinges on proving that the documentary's narrative was not only false, but also malicious. And so obviously there are some users that see Chris Brown as a victim of sensationalism, potentially racism, and there are others that are viewing this as just like another chapter in his troubling life. And the last part of the lawsuit I want to bring up, which is actually pretty smart on Chris Brown's lawyer's side, is that if Chris Brown wins, part of that massive settlement is going to go to support survivors of sexual abuse. But even that could be manipulated either way. It could be seen as heartfelt and strategic, or it could seem like a last-ditch effort to try and win the case. But now, according to Chris Brown, and even in that interview we saw of his lawyer, this isn't just about clearing Chris Brown's name, it's about how the media constructs stories about celebrities. But whatever happens, it's going to be one hell of a show. I hope this one and the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively lawsuit are both televised, kind of like the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp one. But there you have it, folks. That's all I have for you today. But what I do want you to do is drop a comment down below. I want to know what you think. Do you think Chris Brown's doing the right thing by suing Warner Brothers and trying to get some kind of vindication? Or do you think he's just digging himself into a deeper hole? And since Chris Brown and his lawyers are focusing on the accusation from Jane Doe in 2022 that was not proven guilty or innocent, do you think Chris Brown really assaulted Jane Doe, or do you think she was trying to exploit him for money? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. This is an open space for you to share your opinion. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you never miss a future upload. I'm Joe Wheely, and thank you for joining me in the Glassroom.